Coming up on BG24 News, the snow is beginning to melt. Find out how the community is affected.
Computer labs at BGSU may be gone in the near future. Reporter Hannah Hilliard has the story.
Bowling Green schools will be facing an upcoming audit. Find out how that will affect local schools.
Plus, will the warmer weather continue? We've got your Black Swamp weather forecast. Welcome to your campus and community connection.
Wood County's live local news starts right now. This is BG24 News, live at 5:30.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Hepner.
And I'm Angelica Moore-Mile. Thanks for joining us tonight.
The Bowling Green School District is undergoing an audit to cut costs. Local taxpayers have expressed concerns about their tax dollars are being spent. So the school board voted 3-1 in favor to conduct a performance audit. The state could be reviewing a number of areas, including salaries, benefits, and transportation. There has been no schedule set for when the audit will begin.
While many are glad to see temperatures warming up, some are worried. The melting snow has caused major flooding issues for local residents. Reporter Alexis Cook says the recent flooding is causing major damage.
Flooding concerns are on the rise as we accumulate rain on top of the melting snow. Rising river levels will reach minor, moderate, and in some cases, major flood stage. Emergency Medical Association Director Brad Gilbert says moisture from recent warm weather can cause trouble with local rivers.
So once we do get all this moisture and the rivers start breaking up as far as the ice, they could create a jam in the river itself and then start backing water up.
Grand Rapids has a history of extensive flooding within the Maumee River. Here at Grand Rapids, county officials worry about the Maumee River when the water unfreezes to cause even more flooding. Pemberville is also a concern for county officials. With flat land surrounding the town, Portage River is expected to cause major flooding. Pemberville resident Gary Schulte says he is concerned about his wheat crops.
It's going to be real hard on the winter wheat crop because of the freezing afterwards.
County officials are trying to keep the flooding under control. Gilbert says clearing the snow from drain systems will help prevent flooding. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Alexis Cook.
Flood experts say you should always have a flood plan in place.
It could soon get harder for students at BGSU to find desktop computers on campus. Reporter Hannah Hilliard says the university believes it found a cheaper option.
BGSU may soon eliminate computer labs on campus and turn to laptops. Technology Services official John Ellinger says BGSU has nearly the same number of desktop computers as larger universities.
Ohio State has about 1,800 computers in their public labs. We have 1,700.
To lower that number, the university encourages students to bring their own laptops to campus. And instead of completely eliminating computer labs, Ellinger says he wants to change their use. Students can use their laptops in these spaces, but laptops can be expensive.
Some students can afford to buy them, some students can't. If they can't, can I make a price point for students to get something good?
The university does offer a laptop loan program. Ellinger says he wants to reach out to qualifying students earlier or expand the number of laptops loaned out. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Hannah Hilliard.
Maintaining the computer labs on campus currently costs more than $500,000 a year. The university got this new laptop program idea from an outside consulting firm, Accenture. BGSU hired the firm last fall to find ways to reduce its multi-million-dollar deficit. I can't believe how warm it is today.
I know, I'm finally able to enjoy walking around campus.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I was glad to see some green from the lawns for once, so that was exciting.
Yeah. Even though it's a little bit warmer, the winds are a little bit dramatic.
Yeah, that's true. Well, currently, we're looking at about 35 degrees outside. We did have some overcast earlier, but it looks like the sun is coming out. Winds are pretty high today at 25 miles per hour, and I'll have your full Black Swamp weather forecast in a bit.
Coming up when we return, reporter Jonathan Kaiholds talks to an ice sculptor who participated in last week's Winterfest.
Plus, Ohio Highway Patrol will stepping up enforcement this weekend. Join us for details when we return.
The Ohio Highway Patrol will be bumping up enforcement this weekend. Starting today, the Ohio State Ohio Patrol will be starting the 6th State Trooper Project. Along Interstate 75, troopers will be targeting aggressive driving, seatbelt use, and OVI-related violations. The goal is to increase awareness of the dangers of impaired driving and the importance of safety belts. The increased enforcement will last through Sunday.
Bowling Green held its annual celebration of winter last weekend. BG24's Jonathan Kyle says an ice sculptor was Winterfest's main attraction.
Piece by piece, sculptor Joshua Smith carved away at a 300-pound chunk of ice. All day long, kids and adults watched the ice block transform into something different. The goal, an ice sculpture of Cupid for downtown Bowling Green's Winterfest. Smith says he loves his job because every creation is original.
Nothing ever turns out the same twice. Never. You can never duplicate something. That's what makes it so much fun.
So much fun that sometimes it's hard to know when to stop.
There's always something that you want to change on it, but eventually you got to say that's enough and call it there.
An organizer says people are more excited about the process than the final product.
We always like to have the carving demonstrations because then people are standing here, well, what are we carving?
More than 20 of these finished products were placed along businesses on Main Street. Places like Grounds for Thought, For Keeps, and Ace Hardware received their own sculptures. The city itself got Cupid. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Jonathan Kyleholtz.
This was the city's 6th Winterfest. To see more of Smith's sculptures, check out our Facebook page.
Coming up when we return, find out about the latest in the Ukraine crisis.
And after the break, we'll have your full Black Swamp weather forecast.
Live local forecast with BG24 Black Swamp Weather.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Mims, and here's your Black Swamp weather forecast. Currently, we're looking at about 35 degrees outside. We did have a bit of overcast earlier today, but it seems like the sun is coming out before the day ends. Winds are pretty high at 25 miles per hour, but it feels about 23 with those high winds. Going on to tonight's forecast, we're looking at a low of 30, not too much different from today's high, with partly cloudy skies and some high winds as well, from 20 to 30 miles per hour from the southwest. That takes us to tomorrow's forecast with a high of 39 degrees with some partly cloudy skies. Winds are going to be a light and variable during that time at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow night's forecast, we're looking at a low of 19, a bit lower what our tonight's forecast is going to be tonight. Partly cloudy skies once again, and winds are going to be about the same at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Takes us to our regional temperatures here. You can see it's about 36 degrees in the Perrysburg and Bowling Green area. As you go towards the east side of Ohio, you can see that temperatures are getting a bit warmer at 40 in Elyria area and 37 in Port Clinton. Takes us to our national radar. As you can see, there's not much happening at the Midwest area here. You can see there's a little bit of some precipitation happening at the northeast Ohio, but nothing in the Bowling Green area. That takes us to our 5-day lookout for the rest of the week. As Friday, we have a high of 36, low of 29, with some partly cloudy skies. Saturday, we're looking at a high of 38, low of 19, with partly cloudy skies once again. Sunday, 30, low of 11. Monday, high 26, low of 14. And Tuesday, high of 26 once again, and a low of 8.
It's so good to finally not see any snow in that forecast.
I know. I need to start wearing rain boots because my Uggs got completely wet yesterday and my feet were soaking.
We do see a descending trend of lowering temperatures, so good thing that we don't have any precipitation coming our way.
Yeah,
so that's
right.
a good thing.
Exactly.
No snow to plow.
Yes.
Right. A Bowling Green woman has been sentenced to 3 years in prison in connection to the death of her infant son. Yesterday, Rebecca Steinmiller was charged with child endangerment. Her 4-month-old child was repeatedly abused by both of his parents and died of head trauma back in May of 2012. The child's father was sentenced to 14 years in November for involuntary manslaughter and child endangerment.
3 young men faced a gun when they broke down the door of a Detroit resident. The intruders entered the home of a young mother. The woman told the men she had a gun. When they questioned her, she fired. The men then took off down the street. Her husband says he is grateful that he had given her the gun 2 weeks prior. Police later found and arrested the men.
Ukraine's political crisis came to an end earlier today. Ukraine's president and opposing leaders came to a deal after a long night of negotiations. The deal will limit the residents' powers and call for more constitutional reform to be finished in September. The crisis started back in November and led to violent protests that killed more than 100 people.
Despite opposition from China, President Barack Obama and the Dalai Lama met today. China accused President Obama of interfering in Chinese affairs. Both individuals say they support negotiations between the Chinese government and Tibet that would allow Tibet to maintain its cultural identity while remaining a part of China. This has been the third meeting between the president and the Dalai Lama.
Let's check in with Gary Galbraith to see what's happening in campus and community sports. Gary?
Thank you, Angelica. Men's basketball battled hard against UT last night. We have all the highlights from that game, and one of our reporters took an inside look into how baseball is dealing with the weather. All that and more when we come back.
It's unfalcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Hello everyone and welcome to BG24 Sports. I'm Gary Galbraith. 4 years ago, we saw this matchup, but this time it was for the chance to play for the gold. The USA and Canada were ready for the rematch going back to Vancouver in 2010. The score ended even in the first period, but Canada struck in the second, putting them ahead 1-0. Going to the third period, it was scoreless until the end, but the United States was unable to break the Canadian defense. Canada will now play Sweden for the gold medal on Sunday, and the U.S. will take on Finland tomorrow for the bronze. Moving on to some women's basketball. Women's basketball saw a hard MAC battle Wednesday night against Central Michigan. The Chippewas were undefeated until MAC going into the game, and we're going to take it to the second half where Jillian Halfhill lays down a beautiful corner three. Now Halfhill scored a game-high 18 points while Alexis Rogers and Jill Stein also sunk in double digits. BG shot 48% in the second half, holding the Chippewas to just 3 of 21 from behind the arc. The Falcons will go on to defeat CMU 67-55, and their record improves to 22-3 overall and 12-1 in the MAC. BGSU Athletics held 48 hours of social media. Students received glow-in-the-dark T-shirts, made signs for the UT BG game, and received extra giveaways such as water bottles and pom-poms. Falcon fans used the hashtag BGSocial on Twitter during the 48 hours of social media. And that is all for BG24 Sports today. Check us out on Twitter at BG24 Sports now or find us on Facebook. Be sure to tune in Monday to the sports show for a recap of the weekend. Until next time, I'm Gary Galbraith. Stay tuned.
One of BGSU's biggest fundraisers held its Battle of the Bands last night. The dance marathon event took place at Clazelle. 7 bands competed for the chance to play at Ziggy-thon. There was a variety of music ranging from folk to punk rock. Each band played a set and fans were able to vote. We'll have the full story for you on our show on Tuesday night. And I really hope that this weather is getting better for the baseball players.
It'll be an advantage for them when they play at home, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this weekend it looks pretty good so far, but it seems like temperatures are going to level out in the 20s in the early next week with 26 and 26 on Monday and Tuesday. But for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're looking in high 30s to around the 30 area. So that looks pretty good for this weekend with sports. I think so.
That's it for BG24 News tonight.
Check out these stories and more online at bg24news.org.
And check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
Have a great night, everyone.